Ladies and gentlemen, rock fans from all around the world, welcome to Musical People and Journeys, the new album rock show! I'm your host Nigel, and we have William and Simon with today. For regular viewers, we'll go, only 3? Ooh, that's unusual.
Scandalous.
It's a journey, and some people, unfortunately, have not been able to join us, or even vote, so Dom and Chris had it, but Trish, who's getting tattooed today, to add to her many tattoos. Will it be the 555s? Or, on the knuckles? Who knows? Anyway, but she has, so we'll read her notes and her reviews out, and she has indeed voted. So, who are we kicking off today? So, well, for new viewers to the show, we review the latest rock albums and we rate them out of 5 for our listening pleasure, and then we'll tell you whereabouts in our ratings that we've done. This this month, or with you guys, we'll be up to 396 albums in total, and 80 odd reviews for the year. So by the time of the month, I think we'll be up 90 odd. So who is Kittie? Do you know what? I very foolishly left my notes in an easy place to find it, and then moved them because that's what I'm like, people. That's what I'm like. Kittie is a Canadian heavy metal band from London, Ontario, formed in '96 by lead guitarist Fallon Bowman and the Landon sisters, drummer Mercedes, and lead vocalist with the guitarist Morgan. Tanya Candler completed the band's early lineup on basses, and Landon sisters have remained the band's sole consistent members. Collectively, the material released via independent record labels and have sold over 2 million copies worldwide. William, let's start with you. Do you like a nice kitty?
Oh, I've been known to appreciate the kitty things in life.
Kitty things in life.
No idea. Let's go. Yeah. So that was a nice little treat. This album, I thought. Shockingly, I'm a fan of the old screamy songs at times. Outrageous, I know. You could have never thought.
I just heard that's a vicious rumour.
I know it's baseless claims, which appear to, in fact, be based in fact.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed this album. It had a very sort of arch enemy sort of feel to me. The way the lead singer did her screaming vocals were very reminiscent of that, along with the same sort of backing music to it. Yeah, it didn't really. It was good, but it didn't really have enough variety for me to make it as good as I would have liked it to have been. It's far from it's not my favourite thing I've listened to this month, but it's definitely up there with how enjoyable it was. Whether that's because I liked this, my viewers raised it up by how much I didn't like other things, or vice versa. But I thought it was solid. It's good. They've got a nice sound, and yeah, nice and enjoyable.
Well, let's see what Trish felt. The album is called Fire, by the way. As soon as the album started, my ears picked up, and I was looking forward to seeing that this album would bring what it brings is straight, relentless metal, sometimes melodic, sometimes aggressive, but bring their own stamp to new metal, which will please lovers of this genre. Just a bit too heavy for my musical listening pleasure. She loves certain heavy stuff, but it was heavy for me to appreciate fully, but it needs to be checked out by listeners to make their own opinion. Simon, you've been prone to the odd bit of screamo. What did you think?
Yeah, so I remember listening to their original album way back in the early 2000s and being shocked at how edgy the lyrics were back then. And it's fun to see all these bands sort of returning with new materials after basically decades away. And of course, for Kittie, their sound has changed quite dramatically since then. And they've got their vocals, the growling and stuff is obviously a lot deeper now. For this album, the instruments, it was very heavy, it's very bass driven, and it's got this sort of Godsmack sound throughout it. It's quite different from their original stuff, I think. I do kind of like this new evolved sound, but it didn't really draw me in, unfortunately. I think the opening tracks, Fire and I Still Wear This Crown, were my favourite tracks. I think actually the album sort of peaked right at the beginning, unfortunately. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it, but I just don't think it's something at the moment I'd return to.
Sure. We have spectrums, don't we? We have spectrums of the stuff that we love and the spectrums that we hate. And unfortunately, this is on my hate spectrum. Musically, it was fine. Just lyrically, not even lyrically, but vocally, just way too screamo and growler for me. I don't mind some of it when it, as I keep saying time and again, accentuates an album. This didn't. This was the core of the album, and I just after one listen, I couldn't listen to it again. Unfortunately, really not my cup of tea. So I really didn't like it at all. Absolutely, yeah. But it frustrates me because musically I tune in to the guitars and the drums and think, oh yes, and then the singing just kills me. So, where will it end up? How will we rate this album? Where will it fall in our album of the years? Let's find out, shall we, William? What did you give Kittie?
I gave it a mighty 4.5.
Oh,
just
right.
Crazy like that.
Whoa!
Crazy.
Wow.
Wacky.
Trish, I give it a 2. Simon.
2.5.
Shock of shocks from me. I give it a 1 because musically it was fine. I rarely give something. I'd have to hate something musically and vocally to really give it a 0. Okay, so it's a 2.5. So average. Out of the 392 albums we reviewed by the end of this lot, it would have finished 320th, 75th out of 92 for the year. So, yeah, unfortunately, it scores average, but below for the albums that we've rated.
We score out of 5, so giving it 2s and 2.5. It's still like it's middle of. It means it is. Like, it's not a bad album.
Oh, I think if you like the screamo, if you like metalcore, you're gonna, as well as demonstrated, you're gonna love it. If you hate metalcore like I do, well, I don't hate metalcore, but I hate full-on throttle metalcore. Then you won't like it. But it's an okay album. So right, well. Short and sweet and beautiful, just like my wonderful panel, to Simon and to Will. Thank you very much. Please hit the like and subscribe button and tune in and see what else wonderful reviews we're doing for the rest of the month. Bye, everybody!
Bye!